In 1992, Native American couple Arnold Archambault and Ruby Bruguier were involved in a car crash at a South Dakota intersection, but they quickly fled the scene before help arrived. Ruby's cousin Tracy was found in the flipped-over car, claiming the couple took off without saying a word. After an extensive search, their whereabouts remained a total mystery, until 3 months later when their bodies were found near the crash site in a ditch that had been searched many times before. Strangely, their bodies were in drastically different and they were wearing the same clothes as the night of the crash, except Ruby's glasses and shoes were missing. The FBI closed the case in 1999 upon finding no evidence that a crime had been committed, and stated that the cause of death was undetermined. Local authorities believe the bodies were placed there after they died somewhere else, possibly at different times. But regardless, the bizarre case remains a total mystery to this day. Last December, 45-year-old Amanda Richmond Rogers jumped into a freezing Alaska river to rescue her dog Groot after he fell in. Sadly, she never resurfaced from the water, and rescuers were unable to find her despite an extensive search. 4 months after she went missing, her body was finally found, still clutching the dog she was trying to save. This 1997 photo of a Texas tornado is often referred to as the dead man walking. This photo shows two elephants embracing each other one last time before being taken away from each other for a lifetime of serving man. In 2005, a neuroscientist studying the brains of psychopathic killers scanned his own brain as the control, only to discover that he himself was actually a psychopath. When he told friends and family, the universal response was, "That explains a lot." In 2019, a 7-year-old Indian boy was admitted to the hospital after complaining of severe jaw pain. Doctors were astonished to find 526 teeth in his mouth as a result of an extremely rare dental condition. Towards the end of World War II, Japan was planning on spreading a plague across America. The plan was to send hundreds of kamikaze pilots with planes full of plague-ridden fleas to the coastline of California. But the plan was never carried out because Japan was forced to surrender 5 weeks before they were gonna do it. Al Capone is the reason why milk jugs have expiration dates. After his little niece became badly sick from spoiled milk, the powerful gangster lobbied aggressively for expiration dates to be put on milk for the safety of children and pregnant women. Here's an amazing photo of a New York City police officer coming face to face with Ming, a 350-pound tiger that was secretly living in a Harlem apartment. Authorities became aware of the cat's existence when its owner visited the emergency room and claimed he was attacked by a dog. But doctors recognized the injuries were far too extensive for a dog attack. So police raided the building and found several other exotic animals, including a pet alligator named Al. On the left is the last known photograph of Australian sea kayaker Andrew McCauley. In January of 2007, he attempted a 1,000-mile journey to cross the Tasman Sea but was never seen again. 1 month after he embarked, Andrew's damaged kayak was found just 30 miles from his destination. His body was never recovered, but his camera's memory stick was found inside the kayak and contained these final images. In 1976, Stomatis Moritis from Greece was diagnosed with lung cancer and told he only had 9 months to live. But 10 years later, he returned to the doctors to show them that he was still alive, only to find out that he'd outlived all of them. He ended up beating the doctor's predictions by 37 years, finally dying at age 102. These 4,000-year-old skeletons depict a mother who was trying to shield her child from mudslides that were caused by a massive earthquake that struck China. The event is sometimes referred to as China's Pompeii. 15. Two trains collided at 20 miles per hour on the Smiler roller coaster in England. In 2014, YouTuber Kenny Veach claimed to have discovered a bizarre cave near Nellis Air Force Base in the southern Nevada desert. He said the entrance resembled a perfect capital M and gave off strange vibrations that sent chills down his spine. Despite his usual practice of exploring caves, this one made him feel so uneasy that he quickly fled the area. About a month later, Kenny attempted to find the cave again, only to disappear without a trace, as he hasn't been seen nor heard from ever since. There's a devastating video of a zoo bear that was released into the wild after 20 years of living in captivity. She likely suffers from PTSD and struggles to comprehend living outside of a cage. In 1998, legendary drummer Cozy Powell was involved in a fatal car crash while traveling 104 miles an hour in the rain, while drunk and talking on the phone with a woman who was cheating on her husband with him. He also had no seatbelt on, a leaking tire, and was still recovering from a recent motorcycle crash. When going to battle against enemies riding elephants, the Indian Rajputs would put fake trunks on their horses, making them appear as baby elephants, which the enemy's elephants refused to attack. During the Cold War, CIA agents used a special method of communication based on how their shoelaces were tied. In 1973, the U.S. Army developed an anti-tank grenade by hollowing out a Nerf football and filling it with explosive charges. However, the ball wasn't used for long since the explosives gave it an unpredictable flight. A U.S. naval destroyer once won a battle against a Japanese submarine by throwing potatoes at them, which the Japanese thought were grenades. Many warships used to be painted like optical illusions. The purpose of this dazzle camouflage was not to conceal the ship, but rather to mislead the enemy by making the ship's speed and range more difficult to estimate, much to the same effect as patterns seen on zebras, jaguars, and giraffes. It's estimated that a little over 100 billion humans have existed throughout history, and more than half of them were killed by mosquitoes. Child actor Joe Pitchler, who's best known for appearing in the Beethoven movies, completely disappeared in 2006 at the age of 18. No traces or remains of him have ever been found. This was one of the fake heads used as a decoy when 3 prisoners escaped from Alcatraz Island in 1962. They made them from soap, toothpaste, toilet paper, and human hair, and left them in their beds while they were crawling through vents to freedom. Whether or not the men survived their journey across the freezing cold bay remains unknown to this day. This 3,000-year-old ancient Assyrian carving is the oldest known depiction of a scuba diver. It shows a man diving using an inflatable bag made of goat skin to breathe. A slice of England's iconic A303 road shows how it's changed over thousands of years. In 1998, this heartbreaking letter from a wife to her deceased husband in 1586 was found in an unmarked grave in Korea. It reads, "You used to always say to me, let's live together until our hair turns white and die on the same day. So how could you go ahead and leave me behind?" Legendary actor Rick Moranis was at the height of his career when his wife developed cancer and passed away in 1991. He slowly took less and less acting roles before completely retiring from acting so that he could instead devote his time to raising his kids as a single father.